Welcome to the Metal Bob Live Podcast. I am your host, Metal Bob. Today's show is brought to you by Legend Picks and also artist Jeremiah Kalleck. Links to our sponsors will be listed at the end of each episode. On today's show, I had the honor of talking to the one and only Charlie Overbey. We discuss his new music and reflect back on how we met, and also a bit about the Brothers from Another Mother's tour. So sit back, have a listen, and enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Charlie Overbey. How you doing, brother?
I'm fantastic, Bob. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, you as well. I just want to tell you, I've got about 3% on my phone.
Hell.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Well, dude, when you sent me that picture, that made my whole fucking day, man. That made my day, bro.
Yeah, I was joking with my lady. I put on that mask and walked in there and said, "Okay, I'm going to go sequester myself in our room now and do this interview."
Oh fuck, that was awesome. You got to let me use that picture. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. How you doing, man? What's going on over there?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. Life's good here in Missouri, man. How's it out there?
Right.
How's it out there in California, brother?
It's good. It's a little frantic, but you know.
Yeah.
I think this too shall pass, and rock and roll will never die. So we're good.
That's right.
We're good.
Rock and roll will never die, brother, for sure. Especially with guys like you out there doing it, man.
Yeah, well, guys like me, we're cockroaches. We'll just keep on doing it forever.
That works for me, man, because I love it.
You can't kill us, Bob.
That's right. That's right. So hey, man, I know you're working on some new music. Can you give us a little insight on that?
Well, yeah, we've been. It's funny. I was just saying last night, with all this craziness, a couple months back, we were slated to be releasing the record on March 6th, and a couple months back, I started having a weird feeling, and I had already decided to kind of take a lot of this year off, because the last couple of years we've just been beating it so hard, playing all those big festivals and touring and doing all that stuff that rock and roll people do. And I'm old now, Bob, so I was a little tired, but at the same time, I was kind of like, I had a weird feeling that it was just a good year to lay low. Music is strange right now. Nobody really knows what's happening with, that as a whole. But I wanted to make a record that, really transcended everything that I've ever done and kind of put it all into a perspective and kind of mixed up everything that I've ever done. I mean, as you know, I've done a lot of shit. I've had a long run with this music thing. And so I wanted to make a record that, that had some elements of the 90s, the 80s, the 2000s, I just kind of wanted to mix up everything I've done. So that's kind of what has been the thought process of the record. And I decided, do I make a singer-songwriter record? Do I make the rock record? You can't make the same record over and over. And so I couldn't do another, the last record was pretty mellow, aside from a couple of tunes. So I decided, okay, I'm going to do a record that is a two-sided record, kind of a theme album, and do the A side as Saturday nights and the B side as Sunday mornings, and call it Saturday nights and Sunday mornings. The Saturday night side, obviously, is the 4-4 on the 4 party, get down, here it is, kind of rock and roll side. And then the B side is the Sunday morning hangover side with the more singer-songwriter, acoustic, if you will, broken down side of the record. And I am super stoked with everything that's coming out, the songs, the production, I think it's a record I'm going to be able to be really proud of.
Awesome. Well, man, I'll tell you what, dude, you everything you've put out has been super solid, in my opinion. I mean,
Thank you.
The last record was amazing, Broken Arrow.
Thank you.
I love the California Kid, man, and and that to me that was where I first knew about you. I mean, I knew about you back when you did the Brother from Another Mother tour with John Nielsen, and help me out here. Who else was on that tour with you?
Dan Fisher from England.
Dan Fisher,
My
yes.
brother Dan.
Dan's a great guy. I talked to him quite a bit. He's him and his wife got a thing out called Fly Yeti Fly. That's some really good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I was just drawing a blank there. Sorry, Dan. But yeah.
I've known Dan a long time, man. There was the history is so long, but I mean, you know all about the Big Bang Baby stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So after Big Bang, when that whole thing kind of was shit in bed, and I was like, okay, I'm going back to my punk rock roots, and then I put together my own band called 98 Ugly Girls, and then the feds, were after me for a while, so I had changed the name to Fur Burger, and then I trashed that band and started Girls Crash Cars, which was a phenomenal band, maybe the best band I've ever put together, and we didn't record or do anything. We only played 4 or 5 shows, and so unfortunately, no one will ever be able to hear that unless you saw it. And but after, during Custom Made Scare, there was a point where I was feeling a little lost, so I put together a fundraiser show for myself. Had all my buddies come and play, raised a bunch of money. I took my acoustic guitar and went over to Europe just to hang out and kind of busk, if you will, and just do some playing and some soul searching and some drinking. And I ended up meeting Dan in Torquay on one of my stops in England, and we just became brothers immediately. And that was one of those things that I was like, yeah, man, one of these days you got to come over and tour the States with us. So that's how that got put together with me and him and John Nielsen. And that tour really will go down as one of the most amazing, awesome kind of brother felt tours of all time for me, in my experience. That was a really amazing thing. I mean, Nielsen, absolutely one of the best dudes I've ever known, and an incredible singer-songwriter. And, and Dan, and all three of us just became really, really tight on that one. That tour actually almost killed me, man. I got pneumonia at the end of that thing. And, of course, I didn't quit smoking. I just kept smoking right on through it. And, yeah, there was a point. I mean, I was already pretty, skinny dude, and I lost like 25 pounds, and I was so thin. I remember going to see the Super Suckers one night, and Eddie Spaghetti, we came up the stairs, and he looked at me, and he's like, oh, man, Charlie, you look great. I was like, thanks. He's like, rock and roll fighting weight. You look like you could be in the Stones.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
Was that a compliment?
It was an underside compliment, yeah. But, I mean, rock and roll is a strange animal, man. We praise each other for being, too skinny and too thin and unhealthy. When people get all fucked up on the junk, we think it's cool. It's like, oh man, that guy, he's a rock god. And then, you end up dying and people praise you like you were some rock lord. But there's, rock and roll, it's a crazy thing, man. It's, I don't know. These days, and I'm 52 now. So I've got the half of me that is like, man, I need to be out on the road 389 days a year and just doing that thing. But then there's the other part of me that's like, at some point, Charlie, you got to grow up a little bit. And so that's, it's a strange thing.
Man, I totally understand being a musician myself, man. I've kind of given that up the last few years. I'll still go home and play a show once in a while, man. I kind of turned to this whole podcast thing and talking to guys like yourself. It kind of gives me my medicine a little bit, man. It makes me, it kind of fuels that fire that I need once in a while to talk to guys like you, and it fills that void of not playing live.
Yeah, it's all perspective, I mean, I think if you don't have the family and you don't have anything holding you down at home, there's nothing better for guys like us than to be out on the road and giving people what they need, man, and fulfilling our souls at the same time. And, but once you've got a little seed planted in one spot and you've got family and there are the dudes that just say, fuck it, man, I'm doing what I'm doing and that's it. But me personally, I'm trying to find that middle ground of fulfilling my musical creative soul and at the same time being a solid dad and a solid, I won't say husband because I'm not married, but I've been with the same beautiful lady for a long time. Being a solid partner and being a good friend to people and trying to be around for others rather than just thinking about me and I and what I want to do today,
Right.
So, but what I want to do today, Bob, is smoke a lot of pot and have a couple of drinks and play guitar and not watch the fucking news at all.
That sounds good, man. I'm on my way over.
Yeah, it's crazy times, but it is what it is.
It is, brother. And me, me and yours relationship, man, I've only met you once, but our relationship goes back quite a ways. We were talking about the Brothers with Another Mother tour with you, Darren, and John. I was actually the guy that sent the laminates out for the tour. I don't know if you remember having the laminates that when you
That's right. Yeah, I do remember that. Those laminates were awesome.
And then a couple of years after that, man, the California Kid came out, man, and I was just hooked after that, man, and I couldn't wait to see you live, and I finally got that opportunity last summer. I drove my ass all the way down to Oklahoma City, man, to see you. And drove my.
I know you and 8 other people. It was fun.
Oh, dude, I wouldn't. I'm here to tell you, man. I don't care who was there or what was going on. It was one of the best times I ever had in my life, man.
Thank you.
That
was an interesting one because they had that big pot conference right down the street for the first time ever in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
everyone was just like, man, this is monumental. We got to go to this. So. I heard that thing was actually a nightmare bust, though. So people should have just come to the show instead.
Oh,
they'll come next time.
They'd have been much happier coming and seeing you guys, man. And I'll be honest with you, brother, man. That was one of the best times I ever had, man. And I made it a point. I told the wife, I said, I'm going to drive. I got up early that morning, drove all the way down there, stayed for the show. Turned around, came right back. I mean, you know the whole story. We talked that night.
I know you were a rock and roll soldier, Bob. I could not believe it. I remember I said, here, take some of this high-powered nicotine gum with you. And not nicotine. What is the shit?
That was caffeine in there.
Caffeine, yeah, the caffeinated gum.
Dude, that stuff saved my life coming home, man.
That stuff is gnarly, man.
Yes, it is.
Gnarly. Yeah, that's the trucker juice right there.
Brother, I appreciate it, man. But seriously, on a serious note, heart to heart, man, I had one of the best times I've ever had at a show. I was looking forward to that so much, and then you did not disappoint me, man. You were amazing. Your band was amazing.
Thank you,
Your band was amazing. Everybody in the band was great to me that night. I had a great time, man, and I really appreciate that.
Awesome. I love it. All right.
Yeah, it was.
Well, there it is.
It was fun, man. It was fun.
Yeah.
Good.
That was a cool tour.
Yeah.
We I would love to snap my fingers and be back. Actually, even just to that show right now. I would, if someone said, you want to go back to Oklahoma City right now and play that very same show that you did that night for those very same people, I would go, fuck yeah, put me on the boat.
Yeah. I mean, dude, honestly, man, I mean, realistically, there was probably 50, 60 people there. I mean, and in realistic, but it was a fucking blast, man.
Yeah.
Everybody there had a great time.
Well, that's our job, Bob.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job, and Jack Waters, the guys that opened up for you, they were fucking awesome. I mean,
yeah, they were great.
You know, and I've reached out to Jack. I think Jack's going to be on the show at some time here in the near future. You know, he's a good guy, great fucking band.
Cool. Good.
But
awesome.
So
okay.
Another question I had for you, man. The Lone Hawk hats. That's that's one of your businesses, man. You want to kind of reflect on that a little bit?
Well, you know, making hats has been a really good side thing for me. You know, back in the early 90s, I started kind of shaping hats just to have these big, crazy, you know, rock and roll hats that nobody really made. And then I didn't do any hats for a while. And then when I was in custom made scare doing the cowpunk thing, I was, you know, shaping straw hats all bent up cowpunk style. And then I didn't do any hats for a while. And then, you know, I don't know, 5 years ago now or something, coming up on 5 years maybe, I did a hat and a beaver, you know, old beaver hat. And my lady posted it, and Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke saw it and sent a message and said, hey, would you be willing to make me a couple of hats? And the rest is history, man. I mean, I've been making, if I'm not making music, Bob, I'm making hats. And it's been amazing. I mean, I've made hats for everyone from, you know, Blackberry Smoke to Leonard Skinner to Marcus King to Barry Gibb to Sheryl Crow to the Black Crows. I mean, it goes on and on. It's pretty crazy. So I've got to meet a lot of amazing people in that process as well. And, you know, it's a real blessing to be able to have something that's actually artistic aside from my artistic, you know, pursuit of music and rock and roll. So, you know, the hats it's an amazing thing. I never really saw it coming. I didn't really expect to be a hat maker, if you will, a hacker dasher, I like to call it. But, you know, I don't know. It's weird, but it's a good thing. I just take old beaver hats from, you know, way back in the 1800s up to about the 70s, and I break them down into the original kind of cone shape that they come in, and then I hand shape them completely by hand, no blocks, no tools, into something else, and distress them and dress them and put them out. And it's a strange thing. People seem to love it. Now it's pretty hip and fashionable to be wearing hats, but 5 years ago, you know, I was kind of on the cutting edge of it, and now, of course, there's, you know, lots of people out there copying my deal and doing what I'm doing or trying to do what I'm doing. But, you know, I've got my core set of folks, and it's been an amazing ride, this hat thing.
Awesome. So LoneHawkHats.com, people who are listening, that's where you go to find these hats.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to get me one, Charlie. We talked about it. I'm still going to buy one, man. Just give me some time. I'm gonna get one from you.
Save your pennies, Bob.
Oh,
save your pennies.
I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna put, I'm not even gonna wear it, not because I wouldn't look good in it, but I'm gonna put it up in my room next to my Charlie Overbey.
You would look good in it, dude. Everybody looks good in the Overbey lid.
Oh yeah, I'd look good in it. But I want to put it up on my wall next to my 2 autographed records that I got from you, brother.
I can dig it. All right, maybe I'll just have to send you one then.
Oh, dude, I'd love that, but you know.
Yeah, I can dig it.
Yeah,
my shit's not cheap, so
I know.
I get it. But if you just want one for the wall of shame, then I'll look into that.
Oh, it's no wall of shame, man. I got some.
I'm just kidding.
I got some kick-ass musicians on the wall up here. I got you and John Nielsen. Hell, I got Motley Crue up here. I got Gilby Clarke. I got some good old boys on my wall up here, man.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do.
I got yours in a double. I got both albums signed by Charlie Overbey in one frame. It's pretty slick.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
When I die, you'll have some money there.
Oh yeah, I probably could sell that for at least $1.5 million on eBay someday. I'm thinking, you know. So.
All right. Well, yeah. Hopefully, man. We had some shows coming up. I mean, like I said, I decided to kind of take this year slow. We had a couple of good shows coming up in April with my buddy Jesse Dayton. And the Stagecoach is canceled, and there's another festival in May called Hypnic, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. And yeah, I mean, we're supposed to be going to Europe in November. Whether that's going to go down or not, I don't know. I mean, the world is in a really strange place right now, and I know I said I'm not going to talk about that shit, but it's hard to plan. Right now,
it is.
You can't really do anything. It's kind of like you just got to sit back, listen to records, smoke a doob, or whatever your thing is, and just kind of. I think it's a good time for reflection. It's a good time to think about what we have, not what we don't have. Think about people that we love and people that we've lost, and think about the good stuff and maybe turn the world around a little bit.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. I understand 100%, man. It's just things are weird right now, man. Like this morning I got up and they've canceled just about anything and everything on television. It's just like, damn. Cuz I'm a big sports guy. I don't know if you are, but I like to watch sports, man. There's nothing on. Everything's been canceled. And you
can watch all the reruns.
Yeah, I'm good. It's
not the same. I know.
I just throw on the.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big sports guy as a kid. I played sports as a kid: baseball, football, hockey. I was all over it. I ran track. But once I discovered rock and roll and chicks, the sports just kind of went out the window for me. And towards the end of the season, I'll watch the end games. I'm that guy, but I don't give a shit much anymore about sports. Right. So, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I got to be honest with you, man. I was kind of in the same boat, man. I actually, I'm not going to name any schools, but I had some scholarship offers from some schools when I was in high school, man, and I quit.
Wow.
I quit, and rock and roll was in my blood, brother, and that's kind of what deterred me from playing sports anymore. I kind of just dropped out, and all I cared about was having fun, drinking, women, all that kind of shit, man. And what could have been, I can't dwell on that now. It is what it is. I chose to drop out of it, but I wouldn't trade any of it for the world, man. I'm happily married now. I got a woman that loves me to death. I got great grandchildren. I got great kids. I mean, everything's great, man. I can't complain. Everything happens.
Well, there you are.
Everything happens for a reason, man.
It's all in your divine architecture, Bob. The divine architecture is a crazy thing.
Yeah.
We can let it all happen, and it will happen the way it's probably meant to happen. Or we can choose to let our own thinking fuck things up. And, our decisions and our consequences are brother and brother.
Right.
if you will. So
Exactly.
I think that, it is what it is. Some of us let things happen the way they're supposed to happen and follow our gut feelings, and everything works out real well. I've been really lucky in my life because I've always decided to just go with it, let things happen, go with my gut. And, like right now, if I would have released my new record on March 6th, I would have been screwed because you can't go back and re-release the record. It comes out, you get the hype of the release, and that's it. I mean, I don't know. The divine architecture is a strange thing, Bob.
Yes. Well, yeah, man. So, and hopefully, when everything calms down and you guys get back out playing again, along with everybody else, hopefully I'll be able to come out and see you play, man. I'd love to get up and jam one with you, dude. I sing a little bit, I play a little bit. I'd love to do a song with you.
Well, we'll try to make that happen. You never do know.
Yeah, I think you got to see that video I did. Me and my buddy did a John Nielsen cover on Facebook a while back. I think you had chimed in on that.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I have a good time.
Yeah, Nielsen writes some good tunes, doesn't he?
Oh, my God. Well, suppose I'm going to have him on here in a few weeks. Supposedly he's got something in the works. He didn't really tell me much about it, but I'm going to dig at him and see if I can figure it out.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
Right on.
Well, brother, man.
What else, Bob?
Man, I mean, what else? I mean, hurry up and put that album out, man. I can't wait, dude. I'm looking forward to it. So.
All right. I'll get it out there as soon as I can. Once everything is, we're chipping away slow at it. No rush, no deadlines, and but we're getting there. The songs are really good, man. Not to toot my own horn, but I think this is going to be the best record I've ever been a part of.
Well, I have no doubt, and I'm looking forward to that, brother. Me
too.
Everything you've put out's been great, man.
Thank you, brother.
But no, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate you taking your time out of your day to call and talk to me, man. And I'll make sure when we get this up, you be the first one to get the link for it, brother. And I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, Bob. Thank you, and all the best to you and yours. Stay safe out there.
All the best to you, Charlie. Love you, brother. Bye-bye.
You too. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. That concludes the Metal Bob Live podcast. Please see our sponsor links, and thank you for listening. Metal Bob out.